Yeah. So today will from today onwards, this is the link which we are using. Okay. Okay. So for that, for every exercise, we need an account in AWS. Okay. So most of you have already created, but still I will give you some overview. Just try to access Amazon aws.amazon.com. We'll be creating a free tier account. Okay. So when we click on this link, okay, let me click it. So using this link, we'll create a free tier account. Okay. So what is the free tier account? We can learn about it. Okay. So it gives some resources which we can use for free. Okay. So there is some condition of free tier resources here. So we'll get 750 hours per month in free tier EC2 instance. Okay. So but only which one, T2 micro and T3 micro, that is one CPU almost. Okay. We can use 5 GB of storage. Okay. Then 750 hour of RDS, that is MySQL and all, Oracle and all. So similarly there is some limitations, but for our learning purpose that is sufficient. But we need to create only those resources which are free tier eligible. So at the time of creating that particular resource, it will show whether it is free tier or not. Okay. So we'll see that. So to create an account, we'll just sign into the console here. Okay. And I'll just explain it. Then we need to provide all our email details. Okay. Confirm the verification, verify our email, phone number and all. Yeah. We'll have to provide the credit card details. Okay. So mostly in India it will deduct rupees 2 and they will return it back in 1 or 2 days. Then we will have our we'll have to explain for what purpose we are using. We'll say personal use and individual. Then we'll select a support plan, that is basic, and then we can sign into the account. Okay. So first time when we sign in, it will be a root user. Okay. And we will have to provide the email address and the password which we use at the time of configuring creating an account in AWS. So after logging, okay, I think most of you have not completed this exercise, so this exercise is important. So it is possible to access AWS using console, that is username and password, and other one is programmatic access. Programmatic access means accessing over APIs or command line. Okay, that is programmatic access. And for that programmatic access, we need some keys. Okay, so those keys are access key and secret key. So for that, what we need to do is we need to sign in as a root user, the main user, the email address, our email address, and after login, okay, go to IAM. So when we search here, we can go to IAM. Okay, that is identity and access management. Okay, then click on users. In users, so I can create it. So after I here coming here, okay, so I have already created a user. I'll create one more user here. Okay, so I'll name it as AWS user. Okay, so what we will say, it is optional but still select it, because sometimes we will log in. It is not recommended to log in using root user, that is the first super user which we created. Okay, and we'll select this option. Okay, we'll create a custom password and we'll uncheck this, that is we'll set the password permanently. Okay, so I'm setting the password, and don't forget the remember the password, don't forget it. Okay, and after this we'll click on next, but make sure you do not select the default ones. So we have to check this. We'll also log in as a console and also use for programmatic access. Then I want to create an IAM user, don't use this option. And auto generated password is the default one, but we will choose custom password and click on next. Okay, after this we'll have to attach some policies. Okay, so what policy we are applying, we'll use it as an administrator. So we are creating a user and making it an administrator. okay, and click on next. So when we click on next, we can see that account is getting created, name is AWS user, and what permission it has, administrator access. Administrator means almost everything it can do, and just click on create user. Okay, and now I have okay, and just later return to the users list. Okay, and when we click on this user, okay, we can click on this, means after this login as that particular user. Don't go come to this step. Okay, so we have created a user. Okay, then sign out and sign in again using that particular user. So we'll have to provide that some digit of 12 digits account number, or else it will have a URL itself with the account number. Okay, so copy that, or we'll have to provide like this. So now I won't log in as a root user, I'm logging as a normal IAM user. Okay, I logged in. After login, you'll get us go to users again, and you'll see, suppose after login, I'm again going to users and see this AWS user, and click on create access keys. Okay, select the first option, CLI. Okay, and just click on next. We can give my secret keys, whatever name you want to give, or the username also you can give, that AWS user keys. Okay, and create access keys. So if you see, these two keys are important, this first one and this is the second one, it is not showing here. Okay, or you can download it as a CSV file. So I'll also download it and I'll save it somewhere. Okay, and then once you create this and download it, you will not be able to see it again. If you lose the key, then you'll have to create the key again. Okay, so this is how we create it, but what I'll do is I'll just delete this user, I don't need it, just for demo purpose I showed that. So this is how we create a new user and a key for it. Okay, now what I'll do is I'll just quickly walk through most to how to create a resource in AWS. In AWS, we'll be creating two resources. One is S3 bucket. What is S3 bucket? So let's learn how to create an S3 bucket first. So after you will log into the AWS console, one of the method is go to the services here, left hand side, or click on here, and you can see here it will be the recently visited, or if you see here, we'll have to search which resource we want to create. But initially we can directly search from here. I want to create an S3 resource, I'll type S3 here, click on this. So what is a bucket? It is an object storage. Object storage, you can consider it as Google Drive. It stores everything, images, videos, text. Okay, so that is an object, and just click on create bucket. We'll have to give the some unique name to it. Unique name is, so it if any other user has created that bucket all over the world, that will not be that name will not be given to us. Same like the email address. Okay, we cannot have multiple email address with the same name. Similarly, we cannot have the bucket with the same name. So a random number should be given, like my bucket, and some random number if you give, then, or some other characters, for what purpose, data, then it will create. Otherwise, if you create my bucket simply and try to create it, leave all the options default one, it will say bucket name with the same name already exists. So make sure you provide some number to it. Okay, then it will easily create it. This is how we create a bucket, and after creating the bucket, we can upload the contents to it. And second, we will learn how to create a VM in the AWS environment. So how we create an VM? We just go to the EC2 dashboard by clicking on EC2. I searched EC2. I went to EC2 dashboard, and we can see as of now 0 instances are running. Just click on launch instance. We are just learning how to create. We are not actually creating it. You also don't need to create it. Okay, we'll be creating those using our code, that is Terraform. So here I'll say my server. Okay, and I'll select Ubuntu. Most of the exercises we did in Ubuntu. So just click on Ubuntu and make sure it is free tier eligible. Okay. So all are not free tier. Suppose I am selecting this one. This is not free tier eligible. So it will charge you. Okay. So always choose free tier eligible. Okay. So most of the T2 micro instance types are free tier eligible. Okay. Then we also need a key pair to log in. So in cloud, we cannot directly access the VM. We need to create a key pair. We have to download that key pair and use the combination of the key pairs to log in into the cloud. Okay. Then we can also allow some ports to be opened, so we can create a new security group from here or select an existing one. Okay, if you already have a security group, then we can use the select existing one, or we'll need to create one. So while creating, most of the time, if it is a web server, we'll allow SSH. We always need SSH, HTTP and HTTPS. And if you need some more rules, then we can search for security group service and create a new security group and attach it. Okay, but as of now we can allow SSH, HTTP and HTTPS. Then if by default it is using some less root volume, you can consider it as a C drive. Okay, it is only 8 GB, but we can change it to 80 GB. But I think in free tier 30 GB is allowed, so we can choose 30 GB. And some advanced details are also there, but we won't select it, and just click on launch instance and it will create a new VM for us. And using the keys which we generated here, using that combination, we can log into the particular VM. This is how we create the resources manually. AWS S3 bucket and AWS EC2 instance. Okay, next we will see how to do this using Terraform. Okay,